Hi, I'm Cindy Madison, and I just wanted to take a few moments to talk with you about my journey with Lyme disease. Back in early 2000s, probably around 2003, I started having just a little situations. First, I was stung by a wasp and had an allergic reaction, which I had never had before. And then moving forward about 6 months, I was out in the park, and when I came home, my foot just swelled up, and I didn't know why. I couldn't walk. Went to the doctor, and of course, I was given a steroid shot, and that helped me for that moment. But as that steroid wore off, my foot swelled again, and I mean, to the point that I could not walk. I was limping really bad. Probably maybe a week later, I was doing my hair, and I flat ironed my hair, and a tick popped out. And that's where we kind of assumed that I had been bitten by a tick, and that's where it all started. But I had been given different medicines, and they did not address the issue, so my body had really started to break down from that tick bite. And I'm not sure if those of you know, but a lot of times when you're bitten by ticks, I know there's a rash that you may see or a test that you may take, but all of my tests were false positives. So that meant that it's really kind of hard to detect when you go to the doctor and they say, you know, it could be fatigue or something like that. But I continued to get worse no matter what medicines I was given. As I moved forward, my ankle got worse on my right side, and my knee on my left side started to get worse. So I was limping a lot. Also in my wrists, both wrists were affected as well. I went to the doctor. They sent me to a rheumatologist because that's what the symptoms look like, that I had just had I had rheumatoid arthritis maybe 12 years. That's what it looked like, my joints. And like I said, it was in both hands, both wrists, one leg, one knee, and one ankle. Also, my fingers, the joints of my fingers had started to swell and became black. Honestly, I went to a rheumatologist, infectious disease doctor, primary care, of course. No one seemed to be able to pinpoint what it was. I went to the infectious disease doctor, and he had, only thing they could tell me was whatever went through my system really wreaked havoc in about 6 months. And mind you, during this time, I was a single mom with 2 kids. I went from being on the PTA board, working 40 hours, to barely making it through my day. I would try to get them some food, try to get them to school, and lay down. Anything I did, I had to lay down. It was like I was carrying an extra 200 pounds on me. It was just my system just being dragged down. Like I said, I had no qualitative life with them. I didn't do anything but the basics and go back to laying down. So that really took a toll on my family. The pain was tremendous. I was always in pain. I was swollen. My limbs were swollen. So I could barely it took me generally 30 minutes with someone's help to put my clothes on. And so I was going back and forth to the doctor during all this time, and they just kept giving me medicines and medicines. I've taken everything from Remicade, which is a cancer drug, IV. I've taken steroids, all kinds of painkillers, pain patches. And as I said, nothing seemed to help. I was just getting worse and worse, to the fact that people weren't sure if I was really going to be able to live on my own much longer, which, first of all, being in your early 30s, it was very scary. It was very scary for me because I had never been a sickly person. I was scary for my family because they didn't know what had occurred. I was always, pretty healthy. cold here and there, but nothing like this. And the most undaunting part was, you go to the doctor and you really want an answer. You think it's going to work. But no matter, every time I went, the medicines just was not putting a dent in the pain. And that was probably the worst part. It was the pain. Every day, all day long, and still trying to somehow get your kids to school. Of course, it got to a point where I couldn't work because it was so exhausting. Just making it through the most basic things like getting up, going to the restroom. It was just a very difficult journey. I just really, when the doctor stopped having answers, I just kind of asked God, what is this? And just started looking up things myself, looking for people who had situations like mine, who appeared to even be, very slightly similar to what I was going through. So I could reach out to them and help, so they could, maybe give me some answers, because, I had to deal with this. I had to somehow be thrown a lifeline, and I didn't know where to look. Looking everywhere, reading as much as I can. I came across Dr. Moore. He was very positive and upbeat. And of course, at this time, I was very negative. I was very angry and overwhelmed. And, just really didn't want to hear anything, didn't want to be all happy, nothing. Because life, I felt, had thrown me like a really bad curve. I try to get up and I try to do what I'm supposed to do. And here I am fighting for my life. And I don't know why. And no one knew why. He asked me to give him a little time. And, at that point, I really didn't have a choice. And although I kind of went kicking and screaming, I went. And we went through some protocols. We went through, changing my eating, changing, everything about my lifestyle. And how I viewed myself and my situation, physically, emotionally, which plays a very big part on what's going on with you. And you have to have some support. And I think that was the part that I held on to. There was someone who said, I've seen this before. It may have varied from person to person, but I've seen this before. And no matter what the tests say, you can come back from this. Sometimes there may not be a specific name, but he said he recognized the signs. And that kind of allowed me to open my mind up, because I was very negative and very pessimistic about this situation. Wanted a pill, because it was just, like I said, I wanted it fixed, and it wasn't. It was a journey, but looking back, it was the journey that saved my life. It was a journey that I, learned so much about myself, the body, how things are done, and how I can, help myself. And, along the way, as I became better, and more optimistic. And well, moving forward, with all that I've been through, but, just wanting to open up and let people know what I've been through. But right now it's, 2015, and quite honestly, I've been pain-free for probably 9.5 years. I did have to change my life. I did have to change, everything, my thoughts, as I said before, but it's so worth it. The work that we, Dr. Moore and I did together. He even joked, hey, you should, really think about helping other people. And at that point, I wasn't ready for that at all, because I was still, he was still helping me. But he said, listen to me, you are going to, you will be able to see that day if that's what you want. And, like I said, I've been pain-free. I have great energy. I work full-time, plus, other things. I help other people with different, diseases. And Lymes, of course. Sometimes he even, I help, people with everything that you can imagine. And he said I would get to this point, and I'm probably at 50 healthier now than I've ever been. And I'm so grateful. That's why, like I said, when he told me that I would get to a point where I love to help people, I do. I love to help people kind of feel just what I felt since, I feel like I'm 25. I really do. Like I said, I get up at 5 a.m. I stay up, my energy and my focus. And that was another thing that I lost and I was afraid of. When I was in such pain, I was so focused on that. I couldn't focus on anything else. I couldn't remember to pay a bill on time. I couldn't remember. Everything had to be written down. And for a moment, I wasn't sure that I would get that back. I can tell you today that I read all the medical books, all of my focus, my attention, all of that has come back probably better than ever. As I said, it is a discipline, it is a journey, but it is something that, I could never change because the feeling is so great and wonderful. And to be pain-free when I knew a time when I was always in pain, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And now, nothing. I work out, I go to the gym, and travel, which, I used to. I will tell you, I didn't trust myself because my body, I didn't know if I'd be able to walk or how long I'd, be able to make it. And I was also on a cane and a walker. So I didn't travel. So I didn't do any of the things that I love to do. And now that I have that back, it is a great release on live. I have a new release on live. And I'm just really excited about it. I'm really thankful to Dr. Moore for stepping in and helping me and hanging in there with me, even though times are difficult. And times will be difficult. And that's, but anything that's worth anything is a little difficult. But it is so worth it. It is really worth it. Like I said, I am very happy with all of the things that I, have gone through because it allows me the opportunity and the knowledge to help other people.